Welcome to the Kovered podcast, where we unlayer what's happening in the home industry world.
They came here and bootstrapped their company and scaled it, from zero all the way to $100 million in revenue.
I'm Nico, a contractor who lives in this industry every day.
There's nothing worse than being strung along a deal.
Here you'll see real people, real conversations, no fluff.
One of our benefits, right, is that we do not shy away from contractors.
If you ever dealt with a roof over your head, this show is for you.
Not knowing the language, with kids, and having to start all over, it's a feat that is unfathomable to me. And
If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe and enjoy the podcast. Episode 3 of the Kovered podcast. Luis, thank you so much.
Nico, thank you
for coming here. I mean, we've known each other now for 2-3 years now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
3 years now.
So I appreciate you. You've always been there. Anything with banking. Louis is works for. He's a commercial real estate relationship manager for United Community Bank, right?
Yep.
And usually, most contractors never think about being a bank as their partner, right? So, hit me with a quick elevator speech. What do you do, and why roofers should be working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you for having me. Honored to be on the third episode of the Cover Solutions podcast. But yeah, so as a commercial relationship manager at United Community Bank, my job is to be the main point of contact for the owners of the business. So, what does that mean? It means that you don't have to go through the whole process of calling a 1-800 number. If there's something that you're having issues with either a payment going out or deposits, or you're not seeing something on your online banking, or whether you need a lending product, right? We help you through that whole cycle. And, at United Community Bank, one of our benefits, right, is that we do not shy away from contractors. There's a lot of banks that deem that industry to be, very risky due to, either high kind of failure rates, or just, some companies just decide to, take the money and run, unfortunately, is a big stigma. For us, we don't shy away from it. We just ask the right questions. And, in my particular scenario, a lot of my clients are in the contractor business. I have from painters to electrical companies to HVAC companies, and we help them with their, lending needs. So they have lines of credits. We've helped them purchase their warehouse space with a commercial mortgage, and we've allowed them to continue to expand. So that's one of the benefits of working here, is that we don't shy away from that type of business.
So a lot of solutions for contractors, for roofers, for general contractors. And do you think there's a stigma that most contractors in the home service world kind of stay away from the banking because they just don't know? They just want to put their money and just kind of like, I don't want to owe anyone. I just want to kind of stay in my lane and do that. Like, there's more of like a unknown knowledge.
I would say so. Yeah. Mostly, contractors are very accustomed to working on kind of like a cash basis, right? So whenever they get paid, they pay their subs or their employees, and they keep the rest, themselves. And for that type of reason, they're either afraid of getting into some type of debt through, any type of loan for an equipment or a line of credit or something like that. They like to keep their overhead low. But, it's all about education, right? Because with a lending facility, it can increase your cash flow, right? If used appropriately. You don't have to leverage all your cash. It can also help with bonding capacity. That's a lot of requests that we get is, line of credit to secure, some bonding capacity that is required by insurance companies or jobs. So um, we can assess with that as well.
So you would say it would be better to scale because as a from a small um company to a medium size or a big company, where do you think the relationship should start?
I would say, the sooner the better,
Okay.
right? We're a relationship driven bank at United Communities. So if, if you're with us from day one, we're going to continue to assist you throughout your expansion. And that's what we want all of our kind of clients to do. We don't want them to just stay stagnant. We want to see growth, year over year over year, and help the business owner uh, continue to grow their business so that they can either, exit with a sale of the business or hand it over to the second gen, uh, so that their kids can handle it. It's about, building wealth, really.
And you would say from your advice, getting to know a banker even with if you're under a million, it's a benefit to just start now. And what is starting? What is that next step?
Yeah, I mean, starting would be, opening up a business account, right? Opening up a business account, uh, yeah, opening up a personal account with the bank, and from there, they're starting to build a history. The bank can see the sales coming in, deposits rolling in. They can assist with the cash management through treasury management services. Right, we offer all types of, you know ACH, wires, um, remote deposit, all that all that technology we can assist with, and then once we see, a couple of years of real revenue and growth and historical financials, that's when we can start having the conversation about, getting into some type of lending facility, whether it be a line of credit or equipment loan or something like that. Um, and we can possibly start that conversation earlier if, SBA is an option. With SBA lending, we can probably do 1 year, but most conventional products are gonna be a minimum of 2.
And why'd you get into banking?
Great question. So banking. So my first job, I was I was a sophomore in high school, and I started working for a law firm in Coconut Grove. It was a solo practice, real estate transactional attorney, and I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks over Christmas break just to.
Internship?
No, it was a job. I would get paid, but I was just helping out, doing small stuff around the office. I just wanted some, something to do, some money, as a 15-year-old kid. So I ended up staying there 7 years. So I worked all through high school, all through college, and but the main business, his clients were banks. So we would handle all of the title work, all of the transactional work. So, I would be in charge of ordering lien letters and title commitments, and we would draft documents. So I was in that world, 24/7. But when I got to college, I kind of felt like, maybe law wasn't kind of my thing. I liked the business aspect of it better, like the finance aspect of it a little bit better. So that's what I studied at FIU, and then once I graduated from FIU, that's when I decided to move into the banking world. So I've been in banking for, over a decade in several different capacities. I mostly started in the back office, so I was taking applications, processing them, making sure that, the all the docs the underwriter needed were in the file. Then I moved from there. I moved to doing actual documentation. So we did all the loan documents for all the closings. So I got a really good understanding about that. And then from there, I moved to the credit department, which is where, that's where all the decisions are made, right? one of the things that really flipped that switch for me was when I was working in the doc prep and in the processing world, right? I was still very new into banking, but I noticed that the best lenders, the best bankers had a credit background. They knew how to look at a financial statement. They knew how to analyze a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. So I knew that that's a skill that I needed to develop. So I actively sought that out. So I did a couple of years as a credit analyst and portfolio manager. And once I kind of had a good understanding about how the back of the house worked, that's when I made the move to the front of the house, and that's uh, that's what I've been doing. That's how I got to where I am now.
What part of it did you love, and what did you not love?
I love what I'm doing now. Right, I love being the at the front of the house because I get to speak with all types of business owners at different stages in different industries. And what I love to hear is how they got started. It's the best story is always the immigrant that came from another country, whether it be South America or Europe, or we're in South Florida, so
It's
it's
another
Cuban,
country.
or yeah, it's another South American country, and it's they took action here. They didn't decide to sit on their laurels. They went out and developed a skill, or carried their skill that they had in their previous country, and they came here and bootstrapped their company and scaled it, from zero all the way to $100 million in revenue. And those are the success stories that I love to hear and are really inspiring, because we're the only country in the world where you can do that, and seeing their success is great, and being able to partner with them is even greater.
And you feel like you're more passionate about that because you also come from an immigrant family, like from Colombia.
Yeah, of course. That really hits home. My parents immigrated to the United States. I was born in Barranquilla, in Colombia.
Barranquilla.
There we go. Go Colombia, World Cup. But they immigrated here when I was one year old. So I grew up in Miami, but my mom and my dad came here when they were in their later stages in life, right? They were like 30, 40, and they had to start all over.
Hmm.
And that's a really tough decision to make. I joke around with my wife because we moved from Miami to West Palm Beach, and we thought that was a big move, right? Imagine, our parents that came from a different country, Colombia or Cuba, older, not knowing the language, with kids, and having to start all over. It's a feat that is unfathomable to me, and and seeing that firsthand is definitely hits a little harder. And then watching my dad go through working through corporate life, right? Corporate America, making it to a high executive position, and then get laid off because of a corporate merger,
Wow.
and then seeing him go back down to zero, but not giving up, and then starting his own aviation repair station from zero, scaling it, and then making a successful exit at the end, where now he's able to retire and provide a great life, and enjoys his grandkids all the time. Like that's the best. That's the best story.
That's amazing. And what financial mistake do you see the home service side always make specifically?
The biggest mistake is overextending themselves, right? To the point where they're using one job to pay another job, and then they get stuck in this cycle where they need to continuously hunt. I would say I'd recommend just to save the money. It's like obviously it's pretty hard when you want to, you have expenses, and you want to live, and you want to take vacations, and you want to do all this stuff. But do as much as you can to save. Have that rainy day account so that you're not counting on that next job to pay for the previous
A
job
reserve.
and things like that. So beef up your reserves, and speak with your banker. Speak with a banker about options, that products that we can put you in to automatically save, so you don't have to do that. Top of mind. It's just automatically doing it, and
Would you say that's the difference between a national bank and a community bank? That right there, that piece of having that extra care of someone having your phone number, or
100%.
you calling them, be like, "Hey, I'm seeing that you're growing. I
Yeah.
want this for you," because you don't see Chase or Wells Fargo calling you.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an advantage.
Yeah.
Where we're at a more relationship of level of service, so we are constantly speaking with our clients. At least on a quarterly basis or semi-annual basis, we're always checking in and we're saying, hey Nico, how you doing? How's it going? How do you see this? Like, how are you doing this year? How do you finish? How do you think you're gonna finish? What are you going to do with that money that you're going to, end with? Are you going to reinvest it into the business? Are you going to buy some equipment? And these are all conversations that you should have with your banker, because it gives us some knowledge and we're able to put you in the right service. And, at United Community, for example, we have we're a commercial bank that has several different departments. So whether you need to be in wealth services, we have a whole wealth management group that can kind of help you set up your 401k or retirement account. We have different mortgage services on the personal side. We have insurance services if you need life insurance. So we offer a whole gamut of products that allow us to be your one-stop shop, right?
Do you see a lot of small businesses get into the 401k side for their own employees?
Yeah, once you
Yeah.
get to a certain level, it definitely is a great benefit for their employees and for for the owner himself to
Yeah, for sure.
start putting away some money for retirement. Absolutely.
What's the hardest part of your job that no one sees,
The hardest part of the job that nobody sees.
apart from looking that good?
That's a great question. It's we're it's the hardest, but it's also the best, right? It's just you're on the road all the time, and you're always prospecting, and you're always looking for that next piece of business. And I would say that's the hard part, but it's also the best part because you get to meet different individuals that work in different industries, and that's how you create your network, and that's how you're able to refer people to help your client.
What do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? I mean, I definitely see myself here at United Community, leading a team of bankers, and continuing to grow and expand in the state of Florida. Right now we only have I'm based out of the Boca branch, so we have only two branches right now in Palm Beach. I'd love to be able to expand that. Um, I think there's like two or three in the Broward area, and another few in Miami-Dade. And one of the one of the initiatives of the bank is to continue to grow and grab our market share, because we know that we're very competitive, and we know that we can get things done. One of the There's nothing worse than being strung along a deal, and your banker saying, yeah, we can get it done, we can get it done, and then at the end of the day they drop the ball, and nothing gets done. One of the great things of this bank is, and the way we work is, it's either a yes, let's explore it more, or it's a quick no, because we know what we're good at and we know what we're not good at, and we're just not going to pursue and waste anybody's time on something that we know isn't really going to fly. We like to go after our business and on things that we are strong at. That's where we're at.
And on a personal level, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, in 5 years, probably, healthier, down like, a couple pounds, boating a little bit better, or doing a little bit more of fishing. I know that that's something that I enjoy to do, and travel, right? My family and I love to travel and take our kids to go see new places. So that's the that's my next 5-year plan for sure.
That's awesome. And let's talk about our relationship just to kind of end. I know we started meeting each other at a networking group, and I know you've had the pleasure of seeing our team work with you in an emergency basis. Can we talk about what had happened in the past that you called us to kind of service you?
Yeah, so it was
Was it a leak or was it just broken tiles?
no, it was broken tile. So what was going on at the time
HOA,
was
right?
it was we were going through our insurance renewal.
Oh, right.
And these guys are very sophisticated now, right? Now they send up drones and they like to take a visual inspection of your roof, and they noticed that there was a few cracked tiles, and they would not renew the insurance unless those got fixed. And at the time, I had just moved up to West Palm, and really didn't have a roofer. Most of my contacts were in Miami, and they didn't want to drive up to Wellington to fix a few cracked tiles. Right? It wasn't really beneficial for them. So at the time, we were in the same group, and I was like, "Hey, Nico, need your help. This is my thing. I'm going to be without insurance. We need to do this and do that." And you had a team out there the next day, and it was awesome. It was you guys got out there really quickly, did a great job in replacing those and fixing them, and I was able to get reinsured after that. So
How fast was that? Not the service to get reinsured. Just quick.
yeah, it was
Send the
just
pictures, and that's it.
yeah, it was just a matter of them coming back out, or getting that inspector that did it back out, and we were able to, show them that it was all done. So, I mean, it was all done within a week. But it was a very stressful week because it was also like, you're in the middle of hurricane season. And you don't know if something's
That's
going to pop
true.
up.
That's true.
And it was like, thankfully we didn't have any leaks, but it was still a super inconvenience. But you guys did a great job in getting out there quick. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate it too, and for your trust and knowing that now we also expanded to Tampa.
Oh,
So
nice.
2020 end of 2024 we went to Tampa, and yeah, we continue to grow. We're thankful that we have relationships like you that kind of put us in front of like great people within your reach. That we're just a big believer of if you help the community will help you back. And I know you're a firm believer in networking.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that these services throughout West Palm Beach, the Broward, and the Dade just get to know us a little better. So this is why we do what we do with this content. We're here to kind of like service showcase you specifically, understand why finances and roofing kind of or the home service side um, could benefit off of each other because there's a lot of ignorance that people just don't really know. But I think
Yeah.
like
You're right.
there is a connection, and it's easier for someone to kind of just hear it, real a quick refresher of how I'm doing it. Um, Working with community banks, working with national banks, and understanding like wherever you are, you just kind of gotta focus with your team on your financials, knowing that do you want to exit or do you want to grow the generational company?
Right.
I specifically am figuring that out, but I'm happy that I have a bunch of great experts around me that kind of guide me, and it's a phone call away. So last thing, is there something that you want to say thank you to that one person that you could name or you don't have to name, because they've been with you from the beginning?
Since the beginning, you're talking about like
Anyone
anybody.
that touches home.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, I'd say that my wife is that person, right? We've been together 16 years, and we were together from living in a 500 square foot like efficiency, trying to figure it out as like 20-year-olds to, building a life that we could only dream of with, two beautiful kids. And we've gone through, really tough times, but we've persevered and we hold each other accountable and we push each other and we motivate each other. And, that's, she's my ride or die. And I can't thank her enough for sure.
Awesome. That's great because we all need people around us,
For
right?
sure.
Not only experts, but we need that the people that take care of us when no one's around. So I appreciate you
Absolutely.
having the time to come out. Can't wait to have you over again, if it's either on your podcast or any type of content.
Yeah, I'll have to
Appreciate it.
start one now. Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.